So we've got the Terminator. Space Marine Terminators are back and ready to crash the Tyranid party. If the Adeptus Astartes are the pinnacle of the Emperor's vision for martial superiority, then a Space Marine in a hulking suit of ancient Terminator armor is the top 1% of that tiny elite. Bigger and badder than their power-armored battle brothers, these iconic heroes of the Imperium stride into the fray with an untouchable swagger. So bits from the other cinematic. That is a tight model. Proportions make sense for the most part. Hold on, let's go back. Okay. They're not Primaris Terminators. It's just a way smoother model. This is way smoother. This is a modern quality Terminator. Space Marine Terminator has been a mainstay of Warhammer 40,000 for almost 35 years, of course, but with the Imperium facing extinction level threat from High Fleet Leviathan. It's always Leviathan. Anyway, High Lords of Terror realized it would be up to the best of the best to lead humanity's desperate defense. This asterisks going to mention the Custodes, I'm sure, or something like that. Terminators are drawn from Chapter's first company, Space Marines, who have proven themselves in battle time and time again. They can be veteran warriors who have fought for the Chapter for centuries, or Primaris Marines who have joined more recently. What? Either can wear a suit tactical dreadnought armor if they've earned the right. This is finally they've given us some indication of what goes on in the Primaris only chapters first companies. They still wear tactical dreadnought armor. That's a big deal for lore stuff. I do like how they put the low skulls all over this guy's power fist. That's pretty cool. The army includes storm bolters, power fists, and a monstrously powerful assault cannon pictured here. I mean, pictured there. Which this is a much nicer looking assault cannon piece than the old one. For now, let's enjoy the details of the latest iteration of a Stone Cold classic suit of dreadnought armor. This latest iteration. Yeah, this is a tight model. Look at this. That is crispy right there. Yeah, that's why it looks so vertical. This thing is huge and bulking. Look at this. That's so much better than the old one, man. I'm excited, and yeah, that's way better. Look at that. Terminators are the official poster boys in New 40K, and they are by no means the only Space Marines dispatched for some interstellar pest control. Stay tuned to War or Com over the coming months for all news and reveals to come. Of the best of the best. Quite literally, yes. That's exciting. I'm excited. That's great. That is amazing. The humble Termagon, these guys did need an upgrade. Sai, where are you at? Like, what are you doing? You're not going to be here for your boys. Alright, let's take a look at the Termagot. Galaxy is full of biomass to devour, but for some reason those pesky inhabitants Milky Way don't seem to want to join in with this digestion pool party. What's a hive mind to do? How about starting off with a nasty upgrade of one of the most numerous Tyranid organisms? Now the question is, for as cool as the models gonna look, are they gonna be good in the game? This is this is a good model. I mean, you're gonna want to do it in sub-assemblies, let's be real, to get like the max level painting because of all of the layers going on here. But even for bulk, you could get something kind of close to this without that much effort. Originally spawned to hunt intruders in the confined and organic passages of Tyranid hive ships, termagants have proved to be just as adept at hunting in the wide open spaces of planets across the galaxy. What they lack in individual ability, they more than make up for in sheer numbers, able to overcome even elite warriors such as Terminators with hails of firepower from their flesh borers. Yeah, man, that's such a big upgrade. Look at that. That's way crispier. The current Termagant kit features the current Termagant kit has served Tyranid fans faithfully for years, and the new one maintains the classic hunched-over, six-limbed look you know and love. These new models, however, are absolutely packed with detail, proof that Hive Mind constantly strives for improvement, and don't worry, they still come with a Ripper Swarm. Yeah, it's not even a competition. This is so much better. I think the new Termagants look awesome. Just wait till you see what else the Hive Mind has in store in the storm as well. Storm of units. Yeah, yada. Fortunately, Venothrops are great, giving a back massage with those tentacles. Oh man. They got two different versions of the newsletter now. I'm gonna have to tab that to go check it out on my own later. All right, so that's the Termagant. You want once you've soaked in the full majesty of quite possibly the greatest Warhammer trailer ever. I still really like 9th editions though, just for cinematic purposes. Had a lot more of like the awe-inspiring grit to it, but this one's really nice for combat and checking out what's going on with Space Marines. I want to go back and have a careful rummage every last frame for extra info. Okay, so that I feel like is them telling us that yeah, all the crazy weapon and armor configuration stuff you saw is real. That's what that says to me. Allow us to give you a head start with 7 of our own favorite modes from classic assault can action to a strapping lad who screams when he wants to kill faster. What? Is only the beginning of a packed calendar of coverage stretching from now until the release of new edition. Okay. Oh, I wonder if this is just the whole thing right here. Okay, wait, no, that's the same tab I have over here. Alright, so that's the new edition trailer. Here's where they announced the lion, which we were pretty sure was happening. I'm gonna move this over to like here. I'll deal with that later. Is there probably is the record? Yeah, that's right. I was gonna look over here. Warhammer. I just want like the channel. Okay, I think. Well, we'll take a look at this real quick. Okay, and I'm back. Let me minimize that, get that out of there. Okay, so that's gonna be fun editing. So my electricity got knocked out as there was a accident down the road from me. Took out a pole, which makes a lot more sense than the yeah. It was it started raining and it rained for like 10 minutes, and then no sunning again. And we're like, well, it wasn't that knocked out electricity. Alright, so I'm gonna be starting with this teaser trailer that came out right before. Why'd I repost? Because I went offline for 40 minutes. Did you miss all the other stuff in general chat, Potato? Yeah, my electricity got knocked out for like nearly an hour. So I took the stream down and took everything down. Actually, over an hour. Let's see, that would have been around like 3:30. It's now nearly 5. Yeah, over an hour. Yeah. So we were about to start this video, and then all my lights went off. I thought someone hit the switch upstairs that knocks out most of my electricity. Nope. Turns out the whole neighborhood was knocked out due to a pole getting hit. So it's not great, and I got spliced the VODs together later. But anyway, so yeah, here's a teaser trailer that'll go into an actual article I've got over here, waiting. This makes a lot more sense to 40K people, but this is pretty funny. Stop lying around. Yep. Okay. So that was it. That's pretty funny. So that goes into the Lion. Lionel Johnson is returning. I actually already knew this bit. This was in the rumors. Totally believed it. Totally reasonable. And I saw a pop up on my phone of Auspex Tactics with the title like the Lion's back, Lion's confirmed. Humanity faces its darkest hour in 10,000 years, as per usual. Fully half the galaxy is cloaked in darkness, been that way for nearly 200 years, but anyway. Demon Primarch of Khorne rampages across the stars. Yep. And not the first time, though. And fell Bale fleets reave innocent worlds at the behest of the Spoiler and the Archifane. That's new. Well, the Archifane part's new. The Spoiler thing, that's not new. We're getting to the Lion, Potato. Hold on. The Avenging Sun, Reboot Gilliman. I like how this links to his product page. Actually, yeah, for you, Potato. This is the Avenging Sun. Reboot Gilliman, the current only loyalist Primarch and current Lord Commander of the Imperium of Man. Cannot be everywhere at once. The Imperium grasps for a light in the darkness, and a light they shall receive. The Lion, Gilliman's brother, one of them, has returned.
The state of the galaxy, the Dark Angels, the Arcs of Omen series has led to the brink. Abaddon has sent out the Arcs of Omen, Vashtor the Archifane is now at large, and Angron is on a rampage, and there's perhaps one character in the entire galaxy who could stand against Angron. That's the Lion.
Lionel Johnson is the Primarch of the Dark Angels, formerly the Dark Angels Legion, and now he is the returned Primarch of the Dark Angels chapter.
Okay.
Returning Primarchs are a big deal. The return of Reboot Gilliman, that was an era-defining moment for the inhabitants of the 41st millennium and for fans of the 41st millennium. It doesn't happen very often, and this is the second opportunity in my life.
Angron is always on the rampage, this is correct.
He's been deep in the rock
he is Angron.
All is lost,
he might be angry.
Chaos. But this is where the Lion appears.
This model is looking pretty
this is where
sweet.
He makes his stand as
Not
a light
gonna lie.
in the dark, as a knight standing alone.
He grew up as a feral youth on a forested world full of monsters, and then taken in by knights after he'd spent years hunting down creatures of chaos. And that's pretty much what he's gone back to doing. He's found half of the galaxy
commentary on that.
Subsumed by darkness, warp storms, chaotic beasts, so he's just set back to work. He is going to reunite, you'd imagine, with the Dark Angels chapter, and woe betide anybody who finds themselves on the other side of the battlefield from them.
Not gone to anything about free rules yet. However, I'm probably going to go back and rewatch the 10th edition trailer soon. But let's talk about the Lion here. I'm making a Lion's Arcs of Omen book. I know I will be eagerly awaiting the Adeptus Ridiculous summary of it later. Lionel Johnson, Primarch of the Dark Angels, has returned from the annals of history in humanity's time of greatest need, wielding the Radiant Sword Fealty and the Emperor's Shield. Is that a new thing? He is a martial paragon, a hunter of beasts and slayer of traitors, stalking the mist-wreathed passageways between the stars like a questing knight of old Terra. Okay, so him being old, right? I think that makes perfect sense. You know why? Gilliman doesn't look old because Gilliman's been in stasis for 10,000 years. He's been in a pocket of time that has been cut off from the rest of everything that moves infinitesimally slowly because he had a poisoned knife wound across the throat, right? And so he was put in a stasis. The lion was not. He was just sleeping. Why the sleep thing happened, I don't know if they've ever really explained. But he was sleeping, so his body is still, even as a Primarch, still going through the ravages of time, if probably a bit slower than normal. So yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me that he's old now. Doesn't Cypher have the Lion's Sword? Yeah, I don't think that's the Lion's Sword. Like, not his original sword. That's a new sword, I think. Lionel Johnson makes me think of trains. Trains? Why trains? Anyway, this is a gorgeous looking miniature. This is so Dark Angels. I love this pauldron design, how it gives some leeway to move in towards the neck and the arm up into it without sacrificing too much coverage, because this is one of the biggest things about the Lion. He is the penultimate duelist amongst the Primarchs, amongst the 19 Primarchs, 18 plus a twin, 19 Primarchs. In standard normal 1v1, there was no better than the Lion. So him having a pauldron that truly reflects the swordsmanship, I think, makes a lot of sense. Really cool. It looks like he has like a lion pelt coming off his back. The backpack with the wings pulled in is very cool. I like this diamond shaped iron halo. That's a new take on that design. Very, very cool. I noticed how sharp all these lines are in the armor. It's going to be beautiful to paint. Does that mean Vulcan will have a Gandalf beer when he comes back? Like 2 servitors. These aren't servitors. These are the Watchers in the Dark. A warp entity, might I remind people, or at least Xenos and heavily warp related. But they're not human, mind you. Some shenanigans right from the get-go with Dark Angels. But these are Watchers in the Dark, not servitors. The Vulcan would not. He is a perpetual. He kind of just hits his point and then he doesn't really age. I don't think, anyway. But that'd be cool. But also, we don't know if he's actually still around. The whole Wah energy thing and everything. That's a link and a half. Good lord. Also, what's the one on the right carrying? A Scepter of Power, I think? Like a ornamental scepter? I don't know. Maybe they'll explain that. I guess I'll look at this link real quick. Copy link address. Hey, how you doing, Geese? What is this? Okay. Upload failure. Laugh at this user. It's a lot of trains. Okay. Fair enough. Every square inch of his jaw-dropping model marks him as a true hero of legend. His armor is finely detailed with personal icons and the marks of his legion, yet reserved and efficient. It befits one whose duty lies in warfare first and all other matters second. That's even kind of reflected in his tactical genius being one of more intuitive and is logically deconstructed, like, say, Gilliman's. Fealty is an elegant weapon with subtle adornments. It is a very practical looking broadsword, or hand and a half sword. I much like this design. It's actually fairly reasonable in like all ways. with the Emperor's shield glitters in regal ornamentation, which is a little bit more reasonable if you're going to make something ornamented. But even then, I do like how even then it's recessed into the shield. Or I guess not really. I guess it's actually... No, never mind. Forget the point I was going to make. It's still a nice looking shield. This is very fun to paint. On the tabletop, the lion is the consummate swordsman, balancing raw power and preternatural skill, scything through the enemy's foes like weed. Those lucky who live long enough to return a blow are met with bone-crunching wave of force as the fury of the Emperor resounds from his shield. Also, these helmets. Can we talk about these helmets? Oh, is the Lionel trains? Okay. Doing good, excited about 10th. I'm trying to believe in Reddit rumors about all rules being free and coaxes being only fluff. Ooh. A little too reasonable to be 40k. I like the hood helmet one. This is very nice. All of these are very cool. I would be happy with any of these three, to be honest. Any of these are just magnificent. Look at this. This is so nice. It's so nice. Well, to be fair, Geese, given long enough, and your rules will be a Wahapedia anyway. So, you know. This, it is good. It's a legendary character, deserves the mother of all red carpets, such as Lionel Johnson's gang in the Arcs of Omen the Lion. And yes, he will throw down with Angron, the demon Primarch of Khorne, in a truly cataclysmic brother-on-brother bout that's been 10,000 years in the making. Sweet. So, that's amazing. We got some Warhammer Horus Heresy. The homeworld of Warhammer Warmaster Horus comes up under siege as the Imperial Fist begin an apocalyptic campaign to conquer Chthoniya. This new expansion book on the Warhammer for Warhammer the Horus Heresy introduces the Onslaught campaign system, brings expanded rules for the Legiones Astartes, and heralds the return of Zone Mortalis. We'll look into this briefly. Then I want to go back and get to that 10th edition trailer again because, man, I got some stuff to pick apart. I have literally, I'm not joking, like while I was offline, like these are my notes from watching the trailer once off of memory. There, right. Imagine Lion just says, yeah, I need another nap. Goes back. Yeah. Yep. That's how it goes, man. Man, I got that one fight in. Good day. Good day. I'm gonna go back to bed now. The Horus Heresy has evolved from one small mention in a very old source book in a sprawling epic of fraternal struggle and filial betrayal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. New edition of the game is going great. What? Grammar failure. Laugh at this user. Is going great with they just shoved guns in there for some reason. Anyway, it's going great with plenty of old favorites making a transition of plastic. There's never been a better time to pick a side in the galaxy's most violent civil war. Good day, Angron Dad. Like,
I'm Andy Hall. I work on the Horus Heresy team in the Warhammer studio.
That dude looks like the Lion.
The setting for the Siege of Chthoniya book is the planet of Chthoniya itself.
Am I crazy? Does this guy not just kind of look like the Lion? Just a little bit? Yeah, Andy here is the Lion. Yeah. This is actually what the Lion was doing during his nap. He actually wasn't napping. He had just gone off to work with Games Workshop. Yeah, a younger Lion, yeah.
For the Siege of Chthoniya book is the planet of Chthoniya itself, which is the homeworld of the Sons of Horus. It's actually the homeworld of the Warmaster Horus. As the Warmaster's fleets were advancing on Terra, a small detachment, calling themselves the True Sons of Chthoniya, decide to peel away from the fleets and retake Chthoniya in the interests of the honour of their culture. So the book opens up with a really big, extensive narrative of the actual Chthoniya campaign itself. Then we go into a section that sums up what all of the big factions within the Horus Heresy are doing at this point in the war. We also have some new core scenarios for the game. So if you wish to play through the events described in the narrative, you've got some special scenarios that are themed around the Siege of Cthonia. We gave people a basic way of doing Zone Mortalis games in White Dwarf when the new edition came out, and this takes that and expands it into a full system, so full Zone Mortalis scenarios and system in this book. It's also got a really interesting section on Space Marine inductii. We've got a new type of console, which is called a Decorium. We have the Infernus Abomination. And then the last thing in the book, there's a number of special characters and special models that you can take. There's the two main leaders, the two main special characters, Garius Evander for the Imperial Fists and Varanash Haddon for the Sons of Horus. We've got models coming out for those, rules for them in here.
Basic characters, sweet.
This is the first of the campaigns of the Age of Darkness series, and we intend to keep going with these. One really important thing to say about this book is it's designed to appeal to all Horus Heresy players. It's also telling a really important part of the overall story, and it's also giving people rules and scenarios and all the rest of it that will appeal to everybody.
Okay, fair enough. I have yet to learn Horus Heresy, so I didn't really understand some of the terminology in there, but pretty cool. Nice art, if nothing else. That's cool. Okay, I would like to... Well, actually, what we should do is jump over to the Warhammer thing here. Are there any... Okay, there were no videos I have not gone over, so I'm gonna go back to, we're gonna go back to the main trailer. He worked with the most evil faction of 40K Games Workshop, even made Fabius Biosic. Yeah, that's funny. Come on now. Okay. Now, I paused a bit in my initial reaction. I'm gonna pause a lot now. I'm gonna be like breaking down every little thing, going over my notes. There's a lot of stuff in here, a lot of important stuff and they kind of already inferred that all the details are in fact important and will be stuff, which makes this even a bigger deal. So let's see what we got here. There's gonna be more candles and future models saying it now. That's right out of the gate. Candles. We need more candles on minis.
Victory. That is what the preachers cry from the spires.
All right. What exactly does this door matter? Is nesting more swords too? I want to see a rapier mount. Ooh, 40k rapiers would be cool. Yes, I am with you there. Why don't we have at any moment Ember's children with power rapiers? Why is that not a thing? Or rogue traders. Rogue traders. Can I interest you in some rogue trader rapiers? That's okay, but yeah. Does this mean anything? This does look like Sanguinius. He's got a hand here. I can't really make out what this is besides it's someone with... This kind of looks like a gun, almost like an Eldar thing. And we have a... Okay, this looks like the Earth, but this whole makeup reminds me kind of that picture of Macarius on the Bane Blade with the wings out and all the Imperial Guardsmen. However, I think there's some helmets, knightly helmets going on here, so maybe not. Maybe this is more like the Emperor calling the Great Crusade kind of thing. If you're gonna right. Okay.
As if they're temples.
Skull braziers. You can't go wrong. So Yeah, I don't know who this is supposed to be. This could be anyone.
What commanders tell the soldiers in their service?
It's almost certainly Sanguinius, though. Probably references second book of Siege of Terror. Sanguinius tried to motivate the guard at the bottom of the wall. Oh, the Lost and the Damned. That's not a bad. It's not a bad take. Maybe.
The Indomitus Crusade meets with triumph after triumph. Day by day we tear Imperium Nihilus from the Despoiler's grip. And though we are
Yes, Halo's aura, everyone looking at him. Yeah. No, definitely.
Set on all sides. With each battle we drive back the mutant, the heretic, the alien.
I'm just gonna say right now, the amount of firepower being shot up at that fleet, I don't think that's gonna do much. Need some more rate of fire, a little more DACA, if you ask me.
The alien.
Just a little bit. Okay. Now we're starting to get good stuff. I want to point out immediately, we have a Phobos Ultramarine. He's got some weird bone stuff on this arm. Are we talking like Tyrannic War Veterans type of deal? Reavers? I don't think so. I think these are different, and I will explain that later. I have multiple theories. I have 4 theories currently written down based on, like, how many observations is this? A dozen. Somewhere around a dozen. However, Reavers... Alright, here's it. Oh, no, too far. Reavers don't have any antenna stuff going on. No matter what, at least I don't think they do. Not in their helmets, anyway. Hold on, let me pull up Reavers. Actually, yeah, I'll pull up Reavers right in here. 40k Reavers. Also, it would be a skull bottom, not a grill. It'd be a skull. Yeah, no antennas, and the bottom is skull shaped, even when they don't have full helmet. Man, not a single dude in this in this squad makeup has his helmet actually on. Why? That looks so much better. Anyway, not a Reaver. Because they don't have antennas. They don't use any comms equipment. So, not a Reaver. Between Incursor and Infiltrator. Now, do Incursors have... Nope, not Middle-earth. We are really going to break this down little by little. Incursors. Primaris Incursors. Do Incursor helmets... Yeah, I don't get the no helmets unless you're literally blue. Yeah. Okay, so even Incursors, they have the scope on the side of their helmets. While if we jump to Infiltrators, they do have antennas. So this is an Infiltrator. If he's any current style of anything, even though he didn't have antenna on his backpack, which I find a little odd, but his helmet at least... But they don't have a grill either. They have they have a grill, but it's that style of grill. So let's go back to the video here. Okay, he has a hybrid. He has hybrid Tacticus with an Infiltrator comms piece on it. So actually, this is not even a true Infiltrator. This is this is completely new.
As I speak these words, our forces engage the remnants of Leviathan.
Before it even fires, we'll see it firing more later, but do you notice anything weird about this image right here? Notice anything off? Anything bizarre? Is a big G talking is because his voice is deeper than I thought? Yeah, it's Gilliman talking. But do you see, as big for a bolt gun? Yeah, you know why it's big? Because this is not just a bolt gun, or it's not an infiltrator bolt carbine, nor is it a bolt rifle. This is, follow me, an auto combi flamer. This is a flamer right here. You see that? Nozzle and nozzle. And you'll see in a second, this is the auto bolter top round bit on the auto bolt rifle. Also, that is straight up just a flamer. Let me see if I can grab it right before he shoots. Oh, actually, we can grab this right before he shoots too, actually. You see that? That's an auto bolt rifle top. Kind of like Devastator Squad situation with bolt gun and giant missile on top. I'm going to get to that, actually. I think I know what they're setting up the squad to be. Actually, no, I'm wrong. Or at least on Phobos, anyway. On Phobos, I'm wrong. I had a theory, but actually this just broke it. This is yellow, not white. I'll get to that soon. But yeah, look, we got a Tacticus grill and infiltrator comms piece on a Phobos platform that has no antenna on the backpack. This is a completely new alignment of weaponry and armor pieces, which is fine because they said from the get-go Primaris armor is meant to be modular, which makes sense. That is straight up just a flamer. That's just a flamer. That is a Tacticus. I want to say this is one of the veterans. We'll get to the veterans thing, but this is straight up just a flamer, man. This is a I don't know why it has the round thing that looks against brass casings, but anyway, this is just straight up a flamer in a Tacticus's hands. It's not even a hand flamer. This is a full-size flamer.
Reclaiming lost worlds, atoning for...
This here, which by the way, you can see here the cross. This guy is a first company veteran sergeant, and he has a auto combi melta. Let me say that again. Mark 10 Tacticus auto combi melta on a sergeant.
Road chains. A crusade.
Oh, if the hand flamer would be that heavy? Yeah, no, it's just a flamer. Okay, that's valid. This guy here, this is a fire support. So we're looking at like Primaris Devastators, like you said. I didn't see this before. Probably a Lictor, yeah. I'm gonna write that down. I thought these would be like Stern Guard. Alright, so reading off some of my theories here. Tactica shown were first company veterans. I'm now seeing on the second go through, not all of them were. This guy isn't either. This is second company fire support right here. Well, the sergeant was first company veteran. So, Primaris... Special plus combi weapon devastators. That's what this looks like so far. Question mark. Right? Hate them. It's because of Lictor Devastation. A ball went to... yeah. Oh, yeah, the Lictors and Devastation Ball. Yeah, no, Lictors are nuts. They're a bad time. I've gotten wrecked by some Lictors across the years in tabletop, too.
Taking the fight to the enemy.
Okay, so we have a... So we've got here... This is a white helmet. Plasma. This looks like a white shoulder. Yep, I can see the hole right there. Right there. This is a combi plas. Yep, we're looking at a bunch of dudes This is not a sergeant. If I remember my Ultramarines colors correctly, it's just a veteran with a combi plas. Veteran intercessors. I think the veteran what they could do, what this could be is actually they're making the veteran intercessors an actually a legitimate like unit to actually take, because instead of them just being intercessors that you can switch between melee and range and give the sergeant all kinds of different like weapons with extra attacks, which is kind of bad. Like you would just always take them as assault, and then they're just assault intercessors that don't have OBSEC. They're giving them like full Stern Guard treatment. That's what I'm seeing. These are veteran Stern Guard style intercessors for the veteran ones. The Devastator ones, yet to see. That one's kind of weird. And that was a whole bunch of bioplasma there, by the way. So that's kind of new. And then we're back to this Phobos guy with the auto combi flamer. Now we can see it like in full, you know, easy depiction here. Was that the sergeant shooting the Melta, I think? Yeah, sergeant's shooting a combi Melta before he gets nommed. I also wonder, feels like a kill team? It kind of does, because I was about to say, why is there like one Phobos amongst a bunch of normal dudes? These could be kill team rules, but that would be really disappointing to me, to be honest. Because this would fix the whole veteran intercessor thing. Because currently veterans for Primaris are pretty lame. Isn't the new box kill team? Well, there's supposed to be, like, the rumors were a really big Blood Angels versus Tyranids box was going to be the big starter box, like the new Dark Imperium or Indomitus box was Blood Angels versus Leviathan. Now this is big, both literally and in meaning. This is a Redemptor Dreadnought with twin las cannon and missile pod. This is the classic Castiforum pattern box knot loadout for range combat, and this is a Redemptor with it. That's kind of a big deal. If we're being more specific on which chapter, I would like the Blood Angels to be Blood Scythe chapter. The Blood Scythes?
We routed the Tyranids.
I don't know the Blood Scythes.
We broke their high fleet. Soon.
Also big, in case anyone didn't notice this, it's not just an apothecary. Do you notice what's up with this apothecary here? Do you even know? Do you even understand how this is big on many levels? Yeah, chapter created during Dominus Crusade, I believe. Okay, alright, fair enough. That'd be why I'm not... Tech Marine Apothecary? No, it's just an apothecary. It's just an apothecary. However, he's an apothecary, but what would this man's data sheet say? Can you tell? Oh man, this is an apothecary in Gravis plates. No, well, no, all Tech Marines have those arms to help them do this stuff in the light. This is Gravis, though. There's the Gravis hood and the Gravis plates here. This is apothecary in Gravis plate. We get a T5 apothecary with 3 wounds. Now sit that next to your Terminators. You know, yeah, I can pull up apothecary here. I just a couple months ago painted the Primaris Apothecary. Yeah, here. Right, see, these are the so this is not on the arm, but these are, you know, as they normally are. And do we see the No, I want the... I'd have to go to the command box, I think, to see the firstborn. Company command, I think. Oh yeah, the old company command one did not have the arms, but the Primaris did. Yeah, that's the old one. I have this box actually. But already apothecaries are good. Now give them T5-3 wounds and can take the Gravis specific stratagem to negate, was it damage 1 weapons? I think it's like less AP on damage 1 weapons. I think it's how that stratagem works. That's now on apothecary. That's actually can be pretty big, and who knows what weapons he even has. He might actually have like pretty good weapons.
Their foulness will be but a memory. That,
well, maybe not that guy specifically, but you know,
is what the preachers say.
Oh wait, no, we kind of see the weapon. Go back. That guy's a full-on rifle. That's new. They only ever had pistol weapons before. That's a rifle. Gravis Apothecary with auto bolt rifle. Let's go. Master crafted means you can make it master crafted. It's a Gravis. That could be the Hellstorm heavy bolt rifle for all we know. That could be Assault 4, String 5, no AP, 1 damage, master crafted to 2 damage. You got a legit character that can do damage while healing people. Like, that could be sweet. I wonder if I can get to stop right in that little bit of frame that we kind of see it. Hold on.
Just say.
Okay, actually, well, we got the apothecary sign on there. Is that actually just him two-handing his giant pistol? That is too small to be the heavy bolt rifle type, though. Definitely. Man, can't see much. Yeah, I think that's too big to be his pistol, though. I think that is definitely a rifle. Yeah. I would comment more on the Tyranids, but I don't know Tyranids well enough to be like, hey, that Tyranid's got some new thing. I don't know. This is a first company Dreadnought, though.
Relief.
I reached just the Tyranids out of hate, as you should, man. As you should.
Will not save us.
Wait, actually, hold on. I want to go back a quick second. The way this is modeled makes me think this might be a physical thing in the new Terminator box. Just looking at this, how this is designed is very in keeping with a lot of the model designs we see on Space Marine stuff. I don't think this, and it's kind of painted in that way too. Its paint scheme is very, like, this looks like it could have been a painted model. I don't think this is on accident. I think we'll have an actual teleport Homer piece. As with the Tau. Yeah, Terminator, yeah, it's a Terminator teleporter beacon. But we didn't have a model for that, if memory serves. So I think we're going to get them.
Relief will not save us.
Also, this infiltrator here just pulled out the dual knives, but we already determined that he's not an incursor. At least not based off his helmet.
Lies will not protect us.
We're seeing a bunch of Tacticus with combi weapons and special weapons again.
But it is our hope that will damn us.
And this is where it gets really cool. There's lore stuff involved with these. I'll get into in a minute.
the spies and the slumps.
Yeah, no, we've had Terminator librarians for forever, actually. I own 2 different versions of it, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that's not new, actually. We won't be getting a new model, but yeah, I mean, this is the classic one for, well, the Blood Angel one specifically, but there are others. Well, Blood Angel specifically have they do have a librarian dreadnought, but librarian. Yeah, here's another one. Or what? That's Tigerius, actually. Oh yeah, he's Primaris now. View all. So I have one of the limited edition ones, and I have a third-party version of it. But yeah, no, if you just look in your Space Marine Codex, there's Librarian and Terminator armor. It's always been a thing, really.
People sing of victory.
And there it goes.
Victory as the galaxy burns.
Wait a second. That was a heavy bolter. I didn't see that before. That is a Tacticus. Here we go. Now this is spicy. Not even seen this before. This is a veteran intercessor. This is Tacticus plate. White helmet. First company. With a scope on. Heavy bolter. Excuse me? The Psychotyranids? No, I mean, it might be a new version of them. Again, I don't know them well enough to know off of sites if that's like a new version of them, but there's 2 current versions. I could see them making a third alpha version. Let's, what are they called? Tyranid, man, I don't remember what they're called. If I see him, I'll know him. These goes Neurothropes and Zoanthropes, which actually the thing they should not look like either of these. So I want to say these are the minor ones, these are the major ones. Yeah, I think those are a new big Psyker Tyranid threat. Yeah, that's fun. As if Tyranids aren't usually very good at psychic stuff already. Yay. But also, veteran intercessor with heavy bolter. This is new.
As the galaxy burns. Victory.
Oh yeah, looking at that real quick, like that's...
Victory as the galaxy burns.
That's way bigger than anything we got now. That's like character level, like chonky.
Victor.
This looks like a Terminator captain, or maybe just a sergeant. Sergeants usually have swords. Yeah, it just might be the sergeant.
As the Imperium rots around us. Victory as you.
Is there anything specific about this we can pull? I do notice this guy has like a tabard thing going on. That looks like a Gravis style shoulder plate, but normal legs. That is a... Actually, that looks... I mean, that could be a heavy bolt pistol, but that could also just... Oh, you know what? Oh, this is, This is just a Blade Guard vet. This is a Blade Guard vet that you can't see. Like, he lost his shield and his sword, I guess. This is just a Blade Guard vet, sorry. That's just a Blade Guard vet.
Against the tide.
That's a Blade Guard veteran sergeant, and he lost his melee weapons. Who would want swords when you can have a Thunderhammer or a Maul? Faster. Swords are faster than both of those and easier to control, which means you have better defensive options. Like, here's the thing with Terminators, right? Their biggest weakness is speed. So if they can, if you're the one guy that has like a good melee weapon that's not like a power fist, you'd probably want your weapon to be faster. Well, yes, but big hammer. Well, yes, but like Space Marines and power armor that are good at close quarters combat can take down Terminators because they can outmaneuver them. It's that much of a difference. So much so that the World Eaters before the Heresy, it was so consistent that that even averagely good melee fighters, because the World Eaters are so good at melee combat, could outfight any of their Terminators because they were just faster. Can't you get both fist and sword? Do we have a power flail? No, we don't have a... Well, Death Guard do, but that's a little different. Flails are also bad weapons. Can't you get both fist and sword? On a Gravis guy you can, because Boltstorm Gauntlet is a power fist. On a... No, the standard Terminator Sergeant is Stormbolter and Power Sword. That's a standard loadout. I don't even know if he has options, to be honest, for the normal squad. Pardon me. Okay. So, went over the Lion, went over those. What else we got? That Space Hulk Kills Team stuff. I don't really follow a lot of those to begin with, so I couldn't really comment on any of those. I don't play Kill Team, to be totally honest. Okay, we've got this. I've not gone over this here. We've seen a hero return from the pages of history, a whole army of celestial lizards, then a peek at the humans in the mortal realms, but today's biggest news to rival a whole new edition of Warhammer 40k. Yes, a totally new addition to the world's biggest tabletop war game is here. That means amazing new models, amazing new rules, big changes to the Galaxy of the 41st Millennium, as a cinematic trailer we just went over. The lore. Were you foolish enough to believe the High Fleet Leviathan had been beaten for good at Ball? Well, I kind of thought maybe, but, you know, that was just the Vanguard. Of course it was. They even said in the book it looked like the entire tendril, but of course they were mistaken, because we need to up the stakes. But anyway, now the rest have arrived, and they've evolved. Really? The Tyranids evolved? That's crazy, man. The Imperium, reeling from multiple existential conflicts on too many fronts, as usual, is exposed and its main forces are on the wrong side of the galaxy. Leviathan, previously thought humbled, is only getting started. The largest hive fleet in history has emerged, swarming across the galactic west, laying waste to hundreds of worlds, unable to muster meaningful defense in the face of this living apocalypse. Alright, I don't think I've... Okay, we've not seen this. Okay, alright. Time to dissect some minis. Maybe, if they show any new stuff, because we need to milk Hive Fleet Leviathan dry, yeah. What about Hive Fleet Moloch? Can we get some Moloch in here? Or some, Gorgon? You know? There are other Hive Fleets, to be clear. Alright, so this guy was revealed a little while ago. Heavy Intercessor, Desolator, we don't care. Brutalis Dreadnought, probably pretty decent.
Warhammer 40,000 is the...
they keep automatically putting on the captions.
World's most popular tabletop min...
Isn't all the Tyranid tendrils in Vain Galaxy just a single tendril of the entire Hive Fleet, like Hive Fleet Behemoth? Oh wait, never mind. Okay.
Miniatures game.
You're almost there.
Players command armies of genetically enhanced super soldiers, brutal monsters, powerful aliens, and destructive war machines to play out spectacular battles in the 41st millennium.
One mantra with this new edition has been streamlining.
We've been listening to the community, and that's a large part of why we've decided to focus the game as much as possible.
How can we keep the tactical depth and richness that players love, but examine every rule in the game? Does this need to be here, or is there another way that we can achieve the same result?
To secure victory, you must understand your...
Gonna be honest, this has me concerned. While there's a certain level of there's no way to balance a game after a certain level of complexity, I like the fact that Warhammer is complicated. I know that might be a hot take, but I like that it's complicated, and here's why. Complicated game means that it rewards people that do their homework, that use their head, you know? Like, there's only so much your int stat, if you will, is going to come into play in, say, a first-person shooter where the primary goal of the game is to just pop the other guy in the head, right? Twitch shooter. Doesn't take that much brains. This is a strategy game. I want a million different ways everything can interact with stuff, so that me knowing all those ways they can interact with stuff is what wins me the game. Yeah, it's nice, but it's hard to get into. But we got into it. I feel like that's something of a... what's the term? It's not really a point, because if it was so hard to get into, would we be into it? If it was too hard to get into, how are we in it? We're here. We're doing this. If anything, keep it complicated so that it is hard to get into, so only the people that really care about it actually get into it. The real fans are the only fans there. You make it too easy, you're gonna get average Joes. Does that sound like gatekeeping? I mean, kinda, yeah, but guess what? There is some level of necessity for gatekeeping against people that don't care about as much, type of deal, you know? Like, this is a game that right from the get-go, like when you break it down, lives and dies by its narrative and lore. That's why we're still here. Honestly, it's why I don't play any other tabletop games. Like, I don't consider D&D a tabletop game. I don't play any other games. And I've said that the only other game that could possibly pull me off is if they made a Warhammer style scale, like 32 odd millimeter-ish, full combined warfare Halo game, which they could. I've talked about it a bunch of times. I've gone over like all the different units and factions and sub-factions and all this stuff. You can make an amazing Halo miniature game. That's it. And why? Because 40K's universe has me stuck. So if you start getting too many people involved that end up on a creative end through overtime, and they're not hardcore fans because they didn't have to pay the price of admission of going through all this nonsense, then it's going to disrupt the game later down the road. You're barely in it. I mean, it's not one of my main careers. I'm pretty deep into it. And, you know, like, it's... Yeah. Anyway, that's my take on this. Price of admission is the models. No, because, like, I actually, ironically, for most of the time I've been in Warhammer, has been when I've made the least amount of money as an adult. Weirdly enough. That actually is even more a fallacy, that the price of admission is the models. Anyone can make money, right? Anyone can make money to buy a $60 box of minis, right? It's the same amount as a video game. And you actually get way more value out of that box of minis than you do a video game, like your average $60 game right now, right? Because you get the camp. Usually it's like, you get your first player experience or single player experience, I mean, and then you get some multiplayer. And that's like a lot of games. And the multiplayer lasts you, a few weeks, few months. At most, for the average game. I'm not talking about the super amazing games, or the average game. That's $60. $60 for those models, you can be playing with those models in 10 years. The price is very high. It's not that high when you really break it down over time, because here's the thing. How long is it going to take you to build and paint those models? I've got models that I've owned for 5.5 years, and they're still not painted. Like, it's high if you allow yourself to buy a lot in a short amount of time. If you stretch it out, it's not that expensive. Like, seriously, my income has been very low for most of the time that I've played the game, and I have over 200 models. Probably should check that. Check what? What am I checking? The pile of shame? I know I can show you my pile of shame. Hold on. I have a Google Doc that tracks it. Do. And then over here. Okay. 205 miles. 67 of them are fully painted. 172 of them are fieldable. These numbers somehow never actually properly line up, but I don't know how. I've gone through and recounted this so many times, but I have every single model in my collection tracked and assigned to companies with cannon weapons on them. Some of them have names because they were in Crusade. I know exactly what my pile of shame is. And this has been collected over like 5.5, nearly 6 years. Yeah, we're coming up on 6 years this summer. And that was during the time that I made the least amount of money as an adult. Because that entire time I was not employed. I was fully self-employed and going up and down and not actually going well. I can't because I have none. You have to name you. You don't have to, but it's really nice if you do. Like I've got a third company. This is the majority of my collection. Shadow Captain Vorden Crane, Shade Lieutenant Krafen Trazer, Shade Lieutenant Estavo Saramenko, Company Ancient Frin Clivorn, Apothecary Kylo, Company Vets under Red Raven Kjorn, Company Champion Corafe Ordus, Tactical Squad Shavak. I am making that Infiltrator Squad right now, actually. Infiltrator Squad Vorus, Intercessor Squad Sharetek. Right, like. Anyway, it adds to the narrative. Anyway, so yeah. There is some bloat right now that needs to be pulled back, but I don't know if they want to go too far with this. So this has me a little bit concerned.
Strength and the strength of your enemy.
We fundamentally changed the datasheets from the ground up,
making them much.
Do you take the random name generator for a few of those names? Some of them out of the Raven Guard supplement, because if you go to the very back of, I think it's all the Space Marine supplements, there's a page with a name generator. Yeah. A few of them I made. The captain is the official captain of the third company. And some of the others I used random name generators, or used the random name generator and then modified it to something that sounded better to me.
Much more accessible. And really focusing the rules onto the datasheet themselves. What the team's been able to do with this is really look at every unit in the game, make sure it has a really clear battlefield role and a thing for it to do, and then write the.
That's great, actually. Let's go back and re-listen to that bit right there. That was important.
Themselves. What the team's been able to do with this is really look at every unit in the game, make sure it has a really clear battlefield role and a thing for it to do.
Very clear battlefield role. Let's go, because there are a ton of units out there that I'm like, what is the point of this unit? Right? Like, what does this actually do on the battlefield? Because then you have this unit, especially in Space Marines. Then you got this unit and this unit that both do both other things, like one of the two things that this first unit better. Right? So it's like, why do these exist? Reddit was right.
And then write the right rules for it.
I've not read anything on this whole thing yet. We're going to do some of the unofficial stuff after this, I think.
Your datasheet rules.
Oh, here we go. Okay, all right. We got a dash sheet. Let's go. All right. Termagants. Whoa, what is this? Movement 6 inches. Toughness. Are these kill team? Is this a kill team data sheet? I feel like this is a kill team thing. Wound 1 for OC? Okay. No, these kind of look like... No, toughness 3. Toughness 2. No, this is a 40k dash sheet. Get you an app on... Right, okay. 6 inches. Toughness 3. 5 up save. 1 wound. 9 up leadership. I don't know what OC is. 2. Oh, we have the attacks and ballistic skills on the weapons. Nice. Okay. Okay, you know what? I can get behind this. I can get behind this. Okay. That allows you to not have all these -1 to hit because of bulky, or you can now play around with more nuanced, like, you know, this is a sniper rifle. This is super accurate. So you're a ballistic skill 2 up, you know? This was OC. Yeah, that's a solid question. What is that? We got flesh bore assault. That's interesting. We have a melee weapon. Oh, no, there's ranged weapon. Oh, sorry. No, flesh bore assault. Yeah, okay. So assault, 18-inch range, 1 attack, so it gets 1 shot. So it's not assault 1 anymore. It's just everything has attacks based on the weapon. Okay, but here's my question now. Now you need a melee weapon on every single dude, because that was the thing before. If you did not have a melee weapon, then it was just their attacks profile, their strength profile, and 0 AP. So this, basically. So Termagon, Claws, and Teeth. So is it going to say, like, Space Marine Fist or Combat Knife on, like, every single Space Marine profile? Lasgun melee profile for all your guardsmen. OC's objective control values. So how many models you need to control objective with the squad, I believe. How many models you need? Oh, it's no. It's how many models those models count for. Ripper swarms has 1. Termagants are troops, so they have objective secured. They get 2. This is actually good. This is good. You know why? Because then you now have this as a scale. This is a scale now. So now you can have things that have, like, super objective secured, like a custodian. One custodian it would make sense that they could hold an objective against, like, 10 Termagants or 5 Termagants. So them having, like, a single custodian, I don't remember any of their names, but, like, just the sword and shield guy has a has like an OC of 5, right? That would make sense. Instead of it being just doubled, you can now have a scale on it. Okay, all right. If that's how that works, I can get behind that. That's reasonable. I like how the leadership is also now just the die you have to hit. I think 9+. Okay, they're changing morale, I think that's a change in morale, actually, and I think that's actually better. So now actually remember how to do it. You just have to roll a die with some modifiers and beat or not beat that number or something like that, I think. Then you have your abilities, faction synapse, lurking behavior when its units within range objective marker. Models users have the benefit of cover. Ooh. Lesser organisms. Each time a unit is targeted by an attack, if it contains a Ripper Swarm model, that attack must be allocated to that model. Okay. And it's keywords. Only 3 keywords. Infantry, Great Devourer, and Termagants. Faction keywords. Tyranids. Okay. So that's a greatly reduced set of keywords. Okay. Yeah, morale is now part of command phase, I believe. Okay. And second phase is part of shooting phase of the unit instead of having a whole phase for it. I can see that because really, like, it being a whole phase when it's usually like 1 or 2 units, unless you're playing the 2 psychic factions, I think that makes sense.
All
I think
fit
that's
on a
fine.
single card, and your army rules will fit on a single page.
One of the things we
I want to see a Space Marine dash sheet pop up, like really bad.
wanted to ensure was that everyone got to play 40k as soon as possible after the edition was launched. So to make that happen, all of the rules for everyone's armies via the data sheets and their army rules will be available for free. From the army rules via the data
let's go back.
Things we wanted to ensure was that everyone got to play 40k as soon as possible after the edition was launched. So to make that happen, all of the rules for everyone's armies via the data sheets and their army rules will be available for free.
From the between
Free rules, let's go. Like you said.
In the stars, a twisted mockery of evolution spawns fresh horrors.
It's a galaxy at war. This is the onset of what the Imperium will regard.
Yeah, right? Like, seriously, I got a stack of these giant books behind me, and like right, like I'm still probably gonna get the Space Marine Codex because I mean I'm a lore junkie, first and foremost, but come on. Free rules? Let's go.
As the fourth Tyrannic War. This is the largest Tyranid swarm ever recognized in the galaxy, emerging where no one's expected it. The Segmentum Pacificus.
To be a warrior of the Emperor in such times is to face an array of nightmares.
What we've managed to achieve with this edition is a game that players of Warhammer 40,000 will love for its tactical depth and choices, but is streamlined and plays much quicker.
The end result is faster, while still keeping all the flavour that you've come to love in Warhammer 40,000.
For players who've been with Warhammer 40,000 for the last 35 years, they've never seen anything like this before. We've never shown conflict at this scale.
Immersive and
at this scale, I kind of hope that means you can shove way more units into an army. I hope that's kind of what they mean. Because I noticed that with the Arcs of Omen, where they dropped all the Space Marine points a bunch, and I could bring so many more like Space Marines, I was like, this is awesome. I actually, I feel like I'm bringing like an army now, like a Space Marine army, you know? Wait, no, that's bad. Poor guard players. Guards just get way more stuff. Like, well, what I mean is like across the board. Across the board, everyone gets more stuff. Like points cost just decrease because if the rules are indeed faster, that means you could bring more stuff. You know, and you're not. Yeah.
Thrilling new gameplay. Discover a major new narrative in the Fourth Tyrannic War. The new edition of Warhammer 40,000 deploys this summer.
Okay. Imagine little Timmy trying to get into 4K one play card. Well, that's already kind of a thing. But that's where I keep coming back to look at the game as a long-term hobby. Like, it took me nearly 6 months before I had a full 2,000 point army when I first got into it, because it was right after I had gone fully self-employed for the first time. It was just over 1 year after I had become fully self-employed for the first time. So I had very little money. I still don't have a lot of money. I never had a lot of money except while we were getting the stimulus checks, basically. During the pandemic, that was the only time I actually had like a decent amount of extra spending cash, and part of it's because I didn't have to work, so I wasn't spending stuff on work or whatever, and the pay was actually more than I was making before that. But you know, I just took my time with it. You get, it makes you think about what units you're gonna get, and you get them over a period of time. A unit here, a unit there. I painted for some of my units. A lot of my vehicles, actually, I got by painting for other people. Without the full weight of the war machine to call upon, Imperial commanders dispatch elite strike teams in a desperate bid to stem the endless tide of Tyranids, taking out the Synapse Leers that will buy precious time for the lumbering might of mankind's war machine to mobilize. And Leaf for Spearman chapter means First Company Terminators are back. Yes. So yeah, the Terminators. I look at these before the dropout. These look amazing. Also, they confirmed, by the way, this is big. Just took me here to get 500 point army. Yeah. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing necessarily. But also they confirmed that both Firstborn and Primaris use Terminator suits. So this explains what first company for Primaris chapters look like. They look like normal ones. You have like the veteran intercessors or veteran whatever they are now. And then you have Terminators in the first company. These Juggernauts of Death have been rescaled and sculpted to look as imposing as the Lord demands. If the Tyranids could feel fear, they would fear these guys. And then the new Termagon, which also looks amazing. It's such a big jump. The game. Alright, let's go. Let me get rid of these. This Discord notification is bugging me out. Gather. Okay. There's some big changes to gameplay, which has completely overhauled this edition. We started with what the fans were telling us about the game you play. You told us that while 40K is a fun game, there are parts that are overcomplicated and that the learning curve for new players is pretty steep. In particular, many felt there were too many stratagems and too much complexity in army selection. We've listened and new edition has been simplified, but it's not simple. Okay. It's still the rich, deep war game that you know and love. We've just doubled down on the best bits. So instead of a huge raft of faction stratagems, you have access to a handful of the best ones. There are also a few new universal stratagems which anyone can use, which will allow you to be reactive in your opponent's turn. There are improvements like this everywhere in turn structure, army selection, morale, terrain, missions, the ways in which characters interact with units, and more. The list goes on, and we'll explain more about these each changes in the coming weeks. Okay, that's nice. I can finally get my family into 40K, maybe. What does this mean for my army and my codex? Maybe the biggest change in the new dashing is the data sheets. The way core information on dash sheets presented has changed, and with it, we took the opportunity to restat every unit in 40K. Every unit has new and reevaluated rules, so every army will feel new from day one of the new edition. This is actually great. No more waiting for your codex while you're using an old edition's codex to actually play. And it's the same dash sheet. Yeah. Actually, slightly different. This is without Ripper Swarms. It's slightly different. And we'll get to that in a second. This huge update has also given us the opportunity to look at lethality and durability across the entire game. It's so killy, man. It's so killy. Everything's so lethal, and nothing can stand up for more than 10 seconds. So everything can come out at the same time. That's what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like every single unit in 40K will get their brand new dash sheets in line with the new rules, reassessed from day one. So day one, you can play your entire army for free, whatever you have right now, immediately, which is amazing. Yeah, that is very nice. That has me quite excited for the summer. It's also going to be cool because we're all going to go in and have no idea what everyone else can do unless we're all like actually reading like every other faction at the same time. How do you find games at 40K, if I may ask? So I have in person, I have like 3 sources of games. When I have the time and usually when I have a car or someone that can give me a ride. I have 2 somewhat nearby local game stores, and I have a friend that will occasionally pick me up, and I'll face this Space Wolves. I am, however, in New England, so it is fairly population dense here. However, with the stream, I've started doing games with viewers. If you notice, there's now a button. If you have 40K points, you can buy a game, effectively. Buy a TTS game with me for a digital version, which is, it's clunky and it doesn't feel as good as actually rolling the dice or using your actually painted models, but it does allow you to play the game and even try some stupid stuff if, you wouldn't normally probably have because of not, say, owning the models, because it's just finding someone that's already modeled like those stuff. Like, for example, like all of Horus Heresy, for example, has been entirely made for like with skins in a few different variants for like every faction there. So you can try stupid armies at a drop of a hat. Like, let me just bring 2 Mastodons and like a bunch of Terminators or something stupid like that. You can do it in like, a half hour. It's very hard to place models from time to time. Yeah, and TTS, yeah. Huge update has also given us the opportunity to lethality and durability and rebalance it at a stroke, something we could never do outside the launch of a new edition. This example will show you what we mean. Okay, so they're going to break this down. This is slightly more filled out and slightly different than the one we saw before. So it's only Termagants. 6-inch movement, toughness 3, 5 up save, 1 wound, leadership 8+ now. Looks like they have standard OPSEC, so 2 each of their models counts as 2. If this is how this works. Flesh Bore, assault 18 inches, 1 attack, 4 up ballistic skill, 5 strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. I don't know if it was 5 before, but it is only 1 shot. So Termagant Spine Fists, assault pistol twin linked, 12-inch range. Twin linked is now a thing. Pistol and assault at the same time, also a thing. Interesting. They are merging the weapon types a little bit and adding some new ones. 12-inch range, 2 attacks, strength 4, or ballistic skill 4, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. Termagant Devourer. This one does not have a profile. Fascinating. Range 18. This is what I was saying to Mike the Potato when he was asking me about teaching him 9th edition. I was like, I don't know what they're going to change, man. And I believe it was Former had suggested maybe learning about the weapon types. And I'm like, well, it probably won't affect that too much. Nope, they did. Weapon types are different now. Weapons are all different. We can assume pistol means they can still shoot in melee, but I mean, assault, who knows? Would be a good idea to post my address for people to come over. Would it be a good idea to post my address for people to come over 40K games? I would say find a local 40K Facebook group and give your general location. Be like, would anyone be willing to come to this place, like in this area? And then get them into a private chat and then give them your address that way. I would not post your address just randomly on the internet. You have no idea who might be seeing that. You know what I mean? So it's just no profile. It's just 18 inches, 2 attacks, 4 ballistic skill, 4 strength, 0 AP, 1 damage. No armor penetration anywhere in the Termagants. That's kind of nice. Xenos claws and teeth. Okay, so this is probably how they're going to deal with just baseline weapons in the future. 1 attack, 4 up, weapon skill, 3 strength, 0 AP, 1 damage. Infantry, Great Devourer, Endless Multitude, Termagants. Faction keyword Tyranids. Faction Synapse. Skulking Horrors. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of the unit, if this unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to d6 inches. When an enemy unit ends some kind of movement within 9 inches unit, if this unit is not within engagement range, if it's not in melee, it can make a normal move. Oh, that's a thing. You also told us you didn't want to carry as many books when you did games. Yeah. I was hoping to get free candy in the 40K. Well, I still need terrain parts to start hosting for games because I know this is not War Game Club near me, so I want to start one. Okay, yeah. Right, yeah. I mean, good way of starting that, like starting momentum on that is just like clear out your basement, get a full-size table in there, start either printing or buying terrain and setting up a place where people can play and then find other people in your area. And when it gets to the point where it's like, okay, maybe I should start making this into an actual thing, you branch out into making it a store. You know, get your 40K seller's license or whatever from Games Workshop. Buy some boxes and start selling stuff and have that cover things. You know, you also have to start like the actual business side, which is a whole thing. But yeah, anyway. On the first day of the new edition, the rules for every dash sheet in 4K will be free to download or available to buy as convenient portable card decks. Okay, nice. So you can keep doing the cards, which I like the cards, honestly, in person. I do enjoy using cards. Even your faction army rules now just takes up a couple of pages. The whole experience is more convenient, compact, and efficient than ever before and delivers amazing games with less desperate leafing between pages looking for that one special rule. So, okay. Question. I have a question. They say every data sheet in 40K. Does that include your faction rules? And What about the main game rules? Are those also free? Or do we still have to buy a BRB, a big rule book? Because there was one near me, but the club shut down. I think it's one a bus from here, but not sure about the address stuff to contact them. So you can buy the cards or get the codes online. Yeah. Main game rules were always free, right? No. They were never free. This is the 9th edition big rulebook that you get with Indomitus. And to my knowledge, you still have to get this through some kind of box set. Now, of course, you can find the rules elsewhere through other means, like Wahapedia, for example. I'm going to pop this up here, actually, instead of being on my lap. I found PDF online, so I thought it was free. Oh, no. Yeah. I think online you could get, the main rules of, the 5 or 6 phases or whatever. But, all of the little bits of, here's how to construct your army, and here are the terrain rules, and here's, how Battleforged works, and here's all the special rule interaction stuff, and here are the missions, and here's Crusade mode, and here's Open War, and all of that stuff. That's all in the big game. This is why my store doesn't like me. There was all of it, including lore. There was all of that. Well, I mean, what did I just do with it? Oh, here it is. So, in the BRB, in this BRB anyway. So what you would normally, I've seen these little pamphlet things, and you would get, it was a 6-page little pamphlet, right? And it would have, where are they? Okay, so here's the start of the rules. And it would give you something akin, it was a stripped down version of not even all these pages. It's a really stripped down version of, where's the last page of the basic gameplay? Okay, it'd be a super stripped down version of this much content in 6 pages in this little pamphlet. And that's your super basic version of how to play the game. In reality, however, this entire depth of the book is all rules and a couple army pictures, but you get the idea. These are the rules of 9th edition when it first came out for basic gameplay, for all the standard gameplay, not basic gameplay, but all standard gameplay with your missions, your crusade rules, your full explanation, and a lot of the special interactions of all of the basic stuff, Battleforged, army construction, all that stuff. How many pages of rules? And this is a full-size, hardcover book. You're talking... Okay, so here's rules. Starts at page 194, how to play Warhammer 40k. And before it's the last few bits of art, the end of the special, or the rules index at the end of the book, 367. So 367 minus 194. So let me pull up the old calculator. 367, right? Yeah. Minus 194. And you can figure you could probably drop maybe 30 pages of just art or extra stuff. So we're still talking 143, based off that estimate. 143 pages of rules, gameplay. I did finish my base code. Cost me 3 days. I'm very frustrating paint mixing. Oh no. The rulebook I found a bit more pages than that. Oh really? Wow. Okay, and yeah, I guess whatever you found, maybe it was the whole thing. But I mean, I just know I've seen the little pamphlet handout thing that they have in some stuff to give you, the super basic rundown. And it's that's not the as enough to play your first intro game. It's not enough to play the game. Like 200-ish pages? Okay, fair enough. Okay, army selection is equally straightforward. Pick a faction, a warlord, and units you like. Just no more than 3 of any one type, asterisks. And stay within your points limit. That's it. What? So, Arcs of Omen is the new norm? Not even just Arcs of Omen. I like the restrictions, though. But, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. You no longer have to fit your army into a force organization chart or compromise on the army you really want. It's a simple and liberating system and opens the door for all kinds of fun, thematic, or unusual armies. Yeah, but I want to see the asterisk down here. You insert the battle line keyword can be taken up to 6 times, so your dream of full Space Marine battle company army can still be fulfilled. Okay, fair enough. However, man, competitive 40k is gonna be weird. Because, like, one of the things that kind of kept things in check were the army building restrictions. Okay, so I was here. Yeah, I hit the jackpot. Some mad lad just scanned every page of a rulebook out of spite. That might have been the main rulebook. I'm proud of the Dreadnought, but I still have to detail. Oh, do we have pictures? I see a pets post. That's Shiny Mew. Okay, no pictures yet. Okay. Proud of Dreadnought, but I still have to do details, highlights, Wallace's worst of all decals. I have the Arcs of Omen book, right? Basically reboot. You don't need the Arcs of Omen book. Wahapedia has the whole thing, rules-wise. We've been using it for the TTS games. That you can just get all that. No, I don't. Adrian has a yeah, no, when new edition, it's a whole new thing. It's a whole new it's a different game. Very boxing huge pet, but a pet for sure. These big changes to rules in armies mean that the current range of codexes are being retired. The rules in them don't work with a new edition, but remember that the rules for all your units will be available free online at launch. Don't go throwing your codex into recycling just yet. As well as months of gaming left with the current edition, your codex remain a rich repository of lore and inspiration on your army, and one that won't be immediately replaced. This I agree with. I actually have kept all of my Warhammer books over the years. I have every single one. I've been playing since the 8th edition started, and I have every single book I bought. I never got rid of a single book. Codexes will return in time to replace the free rules, but when they do, the complexity of the game won't increase, thanks to a one in, one out ethos for army and sub-faction rules. Really? So you still will... So you'll get a rule update, but they now have a policy that every rule that they want to put in has to get rid of an old rule, which means that they will have to really think about what rules they want to put in. Okay, alright, I kind of like this. New rules for full 3 years. Yeah, it's cool to have. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I actually like the 8th edition Space Marine Codex the most. For lore stuff, I reference it a lot. Constantly changing. No, it's not constantly changing. No. It's a standard. It's the standard thing of everyone gets a codex in an edition, but an edition lasts 3 to 5 years. You'll have your new rules, and then probably the ones. Actually, we have no idea who. I mean, I'd imagine probably the Tyranids and maybe the Blood Angels would get their rules like the earliest. I don't know. I don't know how they're doing this. Okay. One in, one out ethos for army and subfaction rules. Effectively, you will only ever need your unit dash sheets and 2 pages of rule that govern your chosen army, available in your codex on cards or digitally, plus the core rules and whatever mission you're playing. Okay. Two pages of rules that govern your chosen army. Okay, so that sounds to me stuff like litanies and psychic disciplines and stuff are getting vastly streamlined, and just hope that they don't do that at a sacrifice of content. But it doesn't get rid of Savage Echoes. That's fine. Wait, so the whole faction is going to be 2 pages? Yeah, that's what it looks like. So you'll have your data sheets, 2 pages of rules for your army. Now, okay. To be fair, they could mean that the grand scale of what you're using for your army, after you've selected everything, will be under 2 pages, 2 pages or less. I keep thinking of a ship called Litany of Litanies. Jeez. Wow. They could mean that the grand total of the armies you're using, or the grand total rules they're using after you've selected all your rules for your army, are 2 pages or less, and that's thus all you have to bring. Or they could mean they've streamlined this so hardcore that all of the rules for your army, which I actually would not like. I like how I have to choose from like 18 pages of rules for my Space Marine army. I like how surprisingly calm for an Angry Marine ship. Oh, jeez. I like how I have the options of Space Marine Command, the litanies, the psychic disciplines, warlord traits. There are different psychic disciplines for different armor, the like normal librarian and the Phobos librarian, as well as the warlord traits for normal and Phobos warlord, as well as
Nazis,
the
wasn't it?
No.
sub-factions.
Bet you you're wrong.
Bet you're a skank.
Bet you're an asshole.
Bitch, I eat people.
Sub Zophiana, we are talking 10th edition. I like how there's that much stuff to choose from, and the chapter supplements as well. So there's another list of warlord traits and psychic disciplines and stratagems. I like how that. So I feel like I would rather it be, we still have like all that stuff to choose from, but when you're done choosing your stuff, the stuff will be 2 pages or less. But it could mean it's just 2 pages of stuff. Unless they... No, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It feels like it when they say it like that, it does feel like it's too little stuff. Too little stuff. Just one exception though, the Arcs of Omen books and boarding patrols will persist. You can still keep purchasing the Space Hulks into the new edition and beyond. Likewise, for those Eternal Crusaders out there, build up a mighty host of their narrative games and want to bring their Crusade army with them in the new edition, there are rules to let you do this too. Okay, that's cool. I thought when I played Crusade, this is the best 40k ever gets. This is my favorite way of playing 40k, was the Crusade game mode. And I did hear that they are bringing new Crusade stuff, so we'll see how that goes. Combat Patrol, a brand new way to play. We have pictures of all the Combat Patrols here, which a lot of them are bad, by the way. But anyway. As well as continuing support for Crusade and match play. Yes, continuing support for Crusade. I want to do more Crusade. I want to do so much Crusade. New edition will introduce a brand new way to play the game, Combat Patrol. This version is designed to be easy to collect and easy to play. Combat Patrol pitches small preset and balanced forces against each other with the armies made of the Combat Patrol boxes. God, that could be so terrible. Just throwing it out right now. If they have not balanced this stuff properly, some of these are really freaking bad armies. Like this Phobos army. This our Phobos army, it bad. At least currently. This Dark Angels army, it real good. It real good. Like, what? The Space Wolves one. It ain't great. It's not too great. The Death Watch thing, I think, is pretty bad too. I think. A simplified version of 40k that's perfect for beginners, but also meant that anyone starting a new force has a game that they can begin to play very quickly without having to build and paying 2,000 points of troops before a die is even rolled, or before dice are even rolled. I'll just correct their grammar for them. It's also great for hobby butterflies who hop from one project to next and prefer to sample a little of each army's nectar. This summer will be extremely exciting time to be a Warhammer 40k fan. There's so much to say. from tomorrow. We'll be taking in-depth look at all the major changes in faction rules exclusive here on Warhammer Community. That might be right now. That article might be available. So as investigating units in the absolutely stacked launch box. Oh, that could very well already be a thing. Well, let's go work on. What's wrong with Combat Patrol? Is Combat Patrol 500 points only? Imagine they put the line-sided Combat Patrol army without changing anything. Yeah, that'd be insane. The Knight of Nihilus. That's a pretty cool title. Okay, here's why Combat Patrol could be bad unless they balance things very particularly. A lot of Combat Patrol boxes, at least in the current, any of the last like 4 metas, were terrible to play by themselves. Like, you had armies that had like, okay, like those two, like the Phobos box and the Dark Angels box, for example, right? You put those two against each other, a massacre for the Dark Angels, killing the Phobos, because the Phobos had like no anti-armor at all. But then the Dark Angels don't just have Plasma Inceptors, which are already good, then Dark Angel good, but they have a Redemptor Dreadnought, one of the best pieces of armor in the game, with a Plasma Cannon. That's, again, better still because Dark Angels. What? It's a recipe for disaster. Whoever put together a lot of those Combat Patrols did a terrible job as far as I'm concerned. Alright, let's go to articles and see what the absolutely newest articles are and see if we can get... Okay, so they have not uploaded anything new as of yet. So we don't have the one on the units yet. However, it is time for me to go have dinner. So I'm going to go on break, and when I get back in like, 20-ish minutes, we'll start looking at some unofficial stuff, and we'll just look back at this every now and again and see what's up. Hey, we don't call it that. We call it a transport. Technically, we don't call it that. We call it transport technically, so it's fair and balanced. Call what? The Redemptor? Oh yeah, the Redemptor's transporting something. Yeah, definitely. What's it called? The Impulsor? Yeah, that's sure, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go by then. See you soon. All right, have a good one, man. I might be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what. I might try some gaming. I might try some gaming at the end of this. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's just, I'm gonna be paying a new commission next week, so I don't feel like starting a new project. So yeah. All right. Have a good one, Geese. For everyone else, I'll be back in like 20 minutes.